Hey guys, welcome to the passenger seat. Today we're going to be talking about one of our childhood heroes who sadly passed away. Sorry we couldn't get a video out sooner. It was just bigger news than we expected, and that was Thanksgiving weekend. But we're going to do a quick tribute video here for our hero, Jace Dave Frank.
All right, so welcome back, riders, to another week in the passenger seat. I know this is on a more somber note than what we're used to, but we have to pay respects where it's due, and this is definitely one of those moments. Um, Today on the passenger seat, we got my brother Gio. Not only, is he accountable for making me have the love of Power Rangers the way I do, but he was also a very huge fan, and is a very huge fan. I'm sorry for of Power Rangers and of Jason. So yeah, we felt like it was only natural to have him on, so we can all talk about our experiences with that. So hopefully, you guys can come on this ride with us, and we can remember someone who was influential in our lives growing up. And yeah, so here it is.
Just like put it on a, I know it's a strange question, but like, what were you guys doing when you found out?
Me, I was getting ready. I was actually in the middle of playing the new Pokemon game. Wow, shocker. When someone posted it on a group link that I'm on, and it was just from some no-name place. And of course, I treated it like, oh, it's one of those other celebrity hoaxes. But then I saw TMZ
I
pick
thought
it
the
up.
same thing.
Yeah, and then I saw TMZ pick it up, and at that moment, it hit, and I was just like, oh, no.
I got it from just literally scrolling through TikTok, and some guy posted a video about him passing, and I was like, "This isn't real." Yes, and then when I googled it, I was like in total shock. Like it was, I think it's the first time any celebrity has made my heart drop.
Yeah.
Honestly,
Dude, you said it. You hit the nail right on the head. And that was the craziest thing that I was about to mention. So, I was actually in the process of doing something with my phone. I was like reformatting my phone, or downgrading the operating system. And you were the one to tell me. And
yeah.
like, I don't, dude, like I felt like that sync, and it was the weirdest, it was the most surreal thing, because I usually see people post on Facebook like, oh, this celebrity passed away, or this celebrity passed away, or this, and usually I'm just like, why do people do that? Like, people pass away all the time, it's not like a big deal. And for some reason that hit me, it hit me different, and I was just there like, that sucks, man. um Heavier than
Just
what I'm used to feeling, I think.
it was
I think
definitely something about him because he's not a family member. We didn't know him personally, but there was something like about his death that I feel, and clearly you guys feel it too. It just made you feel like that hit your childhood, like right in the gut.
Well, for me, it was always the way he was so charismatic as a character, as an actor. He took he. I remember when he first stepped onto the Power Ranger scene. Like, I watched those episodes, and those are some of my favorite episodes. Were always with him in it. But when he first stepped on, he has this charisma that oozed. And I've been talking to other fans over the last week, and it's just like he had this type of charisma that it didn't matter that you didn't know him. He always came off as really genuine. Um, Even in his other show that he did, which was a kind of reality show that about his own life, a lot of the things that he did, you could see the kind of person that he was. And I always love watching those meet and greet videos that he where he goes off to signings, and there's recordings of them, and you can see what kind of a nice guy he was. He's like, okay, here's a sign, and I'm pretty sure he obviously charged, But there were times where he was like, "Hey, you know what? Here," and he would go and he would grab one of the helmets that he had, or he would go out and grab one of the figures that were around the store. He'd sign it and just hand it off to somebody. Go here, don't worry about it. Take care of it. Take care of it. He always had this very positive vibe from him that it didn't matter that we didn't know him. It we took him in as a family member at that point. And it's so rare for somebody to have that kind of magnetism, you know?
I was fortunate enough to meet him this year in SummerCon, and it's crazy enough that it happened literally the year I met him. But he is such a nice guy, though, super nice guy. And it's crazy seeing him in person because it kind of feels like you're just seeing your hero. It's almost starstruck. Really good. So you describe him perfectly because that's exactly how he was.
Well,
Yeah.
so yeah, I mean, I can't really speak upon meeting him. I never had that. I was never fortunate enough. Um, but moving into like what he represented to me growing up, I mean, I don't remember vividly. As Yu-Gi-Oh, of course, was way younger. And what I do remember was weekends and being able to watch cartoons and shows, and Power Ranger was a big staple um, for those, for those moments. And as you grow up, that nostalgia becomes very impactful. And when you start reminiscing, you start having these great feelings about when you were younger. And that's what happens to me when I think about it. I think, man, these weekends as I woke up as a kid, and mom was always baking something or cooking something, and we'd watch cartoons or shows, and how I was able to watch Jason portray, for me, what is the coolest Ranger of all time.
Best
And
Ranger of all time.
and yeah, it's I feel like he just had such a huge impact on the way that on that show, and how it made me feel. And as when you were a kid, you just wanted to be him. So
Yeah, that's true.
I
I
mean,
think I still have a child photo of me dressed up as the White Ranger.
nice. I see. I was a teenager when the show came out, and I was a rabid fan. And as the story goes, I had this huge collection of Power Rangers. Um,
There's somebody still in the
but
pool.
yeah, somebody threw the pool. But the thing is that he he came on scene, and I gravitated so much to him because he seemed so powerful, such a strong person, and I was not in the best place in my life. I don't really talk about it. I only talking about it because it brings people down, but I wasn't in the best place. And watching him on that show, watching him make those appearances as the Green Ranger, seeing the trials and tribulations of him losing his power, becoming the White Ranger, it kept me so occupied because the way that story unfolded, the way the storytelling was done, his acting on there, it just kept me so engaged that it distracted me from a lot of the thoughts that I was having at that time, at that age. So, in kind of a weird way, he basically kept me going um, long enough to be in a better mental state. And it's weird. It really is weird to just say that someone that you've never met was responsible for keep making you take that extra step. But that was the kind of that was the kind of impact he made on my life.
Yeah, I mean, before we get into like our favorite Jason David Frank Power Ranger moments, um, Gio, do you want to tell the fans like there's always someone out there for them?
Um, when I was growing up, we didn't have the internet. We didn't have a lot of the we didn't have a lot of the communications that we have now. And for anybody who's going through those same types of moments of darkness, as someone who fights it still to this day, um, reach out to somebody, reach out to family, reach out to friends, reach out to a stranger. You'd be surprised. There is help out there, and it doesn't matter where in the world you are. There is someone always willing to listen to you, and there's always somebody who will try to help you and help you get through that moment. And before you walk through that door, I implore anybody who's going through it, just please reach out to somebody first.
Well said.
Yeah. Piggybacking on what you know my brother said, it's I feel like all of us at one point we've gone through a moment where we've had very negative thoughts, and the pressure that can have on us can make us do things that are very unfortunate. There is help out there. There's always someone who's going to want to hear your story. Um, and sometimes it may not be something that you've been dragging along. It might just be something that's spontaneous and hits you in the moment, and you think, okay, well, I'm just so fed up at that moment that you go and take an action that you can't take back. So we implore anyone watching this to seek help, because like I said before, there's always someone willing to hear your story. You can call the hotline for if you're having any suicidal thoughts, and that's 1-800-273-8255. We're going to go ahead and put some link and the phone number down in the description box below. So if any of you riders who are joining us here today need to vent or need to talk to somebody, please look for those resources.
Very well said. Let's go ahead and remember Jason David Frank as he would want us to remember him. Let's talk about his greatest moments. Who wants to kick it off?
Ooh, man. Yeah,
Gio.
I was about to say I knew you would.
I'll kick this off. Well, there's a couple other things I wanna mention about him after, but the moment. Let's be honest, man. Number one, him as the Green Ranger will always be the best, because this is the dude that would sit there and take blasts from monsters, and it's just like nope, do, and it's just bouncing off of him. The dude took out the 5 Rangers on his own, in their own Zord. He plays his dagger like a flute that sounds like a synth sax through a mask with no holes. Come on, that's badass on itself. And on top of all of that, the dude fights on top of his Zord. Not in it, on top of it. And he's just like, yeah, I'm battling big monsters. The man literally had no fear as the Green Ranger. He's just like, yeah, bring it.
Honestly, yeah, the Green Ranger was right there.
that was top tier Ranger right there. I mean, they had to steal his powers. They had to steal his powers. He was too badass. They had to steal his powers.
Oh man!
As much as obviously like the Green Ranger's the boss. When I was a kid, I don't know what it was, but when he turned into the White Ranger, that's when I like really gravitated towards him. Like I fell in love with the White Ranger, and I don't know what it was, but it was like he was the leader. He was heroic. He was like that scene where he finally comes out and he's like, "Oh, I guess I'm leaving." Zordon's like, "You're not leaving," and just boom, the White Ranger comes out. I was like, "Man, that's so awesome." It was just cool. I really dig it. I mean, I dig the Green Ranger too, but there was something about it, man. But I think that's one of his greatest moments. Obviously, is when he gets the White Ranger.
Right. Well, for me, and I think this is just because growing up, I think I was always so hyped for this. Was the movie?
Oh yeah.
And dude. And for me, it was just he was just so stellar in that movie. And as the White Ranger, um, I remember at the end where they're fighting Ivan Ooze, and he's in the Falcon Zord, and I remember like one of the most memorable points for me was like when the monorail broke, and then he goes in, he swoops in, and like spreads the wings,
Yeah,
and he
yes,
saves the
yes.
monorail, dude. That for me was nuts, man.
He's so Superman that.
He did, honestly.
That was
And
just
the little kid in that movie was us. Like, let's be real. That
yeah,
dude thought Tommy was the coolest, and you were
yeah.
on your
Dude,
TV like, Tommy's the coolest.
I was in my 20s and I was that little kid saying that Tommy's the coolest. Don't even get me started.
He comes out with a snowboard while everyone else is just like,
Mind you, I am like 6 years younger than he is. Yeah, and even then I was just like, yeah, Tommy, let's go.
yeah, that's a good
I mean,
moment. I like that. I like
It
that.
was. I mean, the man played, literally holds the record for playing the most colors and the most Rangers, because you had the green, you had the white,
Yeah.
you had the white ninja, you had the Zeo Red, he was
Yep.
Turbo Red, played the Black Ranger. He reprised his role in during the 30-year history of the series. He was in Forever Red as one of the Red Rangers. He came back recently in the last series. There's a whole episode for the 30th anniversary where he was the pivotal character, and they gave him something that they called the Megamorpher. And the Megamorpher allowed him to transform into all of his incarnations, from green to white to red to black. And he went through all of them. And I mean,
He was.
the man was the face of the franchise.
I was just gonna say that dude was like he was the Power Ranger, man. Like if anyone can remember any Power Ranger, you would remember Tommy.
What did you do that for?
Because I'm so bugging I can't even deal. Our teacher is the oldest living Power Ranger.
Not the oldest.
Huh?
Just the best.
Right.
Yeah.
That's just it. Yeah.
Now, there is one thing I do want to mention before we get too far into it, but he did start up his own online dojo, and recently, one of the people of the Facebook group that I'm in, JDF Ultimate Fans, they reached out to the school, and the school is going to continue those classes, and it's like $30 a month to do classes that were created. This is the style he created. So this is his school, and they're gonna continue. They're gonna continue with classes.
That's dope.
That's good.
I mean, the man has made some serious accomplishments, but he always came back to Power Rangers. I mean, Stan Lee even walked in on one of the panels, and he goes, "This is my favorite Power Ranger. How are they
I do
treating
remember
you?"
that video.
Yeah, I mean, if Stan the Man Lee, is a fan of Jason David Frank, you know there's something there. You know that man was just a quality human being that we really have a hard time finding.
All right. Well, yeah. So I think this is where we draw back a little bit and sort of close out. So yeah, hopefully to all the writers watching, hopefully you enjoyed taking this ride with us and remembering Jason David Frank for the amazing human being that he was, and for the impact that he had in our lives and hopefully your lives, growing up or with any situation you might have had. And yeah, remember that there's always support somewhere out there for you. So please, seek it and use the resources that are around you to get help. And yeah, any last words, guys?
Me, it's I don't want to let that one moment define the man. I want to take his whole legacy of everything that he did, the way he treated people. He treated his fans like gold because they were the ones that were there for him before anybody else, and so he always seemed like he was for his fans first. But one of the greatest words that I think I can leave everybody with. Um, whether you're an old fan like me or a new fan, the words that he would say: once a ranger, always a ranger.
Or
That's so true. All right, well, I hope you guys came along with us in this video, and just leave a comment down below about how you felt, what's the inspiration he gave you, who's your childhood hero, like everyone thinks. And yeah, thank you for joining us on this ride.
thank you guys. We appreciate you.